Hi everybody, I'm back and I know it's been a lot longer than I planned. It's about a month since I posted my first video, and the reason being is one of my family members had a medical emergency that required me to fly out of state to go and help take care of that. Even though I stayed there for about a week and I came back home, I was following up with doctors, getting appointments scheduled, checking in on that individual, making sure that everything is going smoothly for them, helping them with just various tasks, and I don't know, just helping them get their life straightened out. So now that everything has calmed down, I thought I would go ahead and shoot a video. There are a few things I want to share with in this video today, and the first thing I want to share with is my sketchbooks. I haven't been drawing too much in the month of February, but I did manage to fill up a good chunk of one of my sketchbooks in January, so I want to share with you all of that. The second thing I wanted to kind of talk about is what my plans are for my own art education, because I figured that out finally at the end of last month. So without further ado, let's take a look at my sketchbook.
So one thing I want to say before I get into my sketchbook review is I actually have two sketchbooks. The smaller blue sketchbook on top is my watercolor sketchbook with the special watercolor paper, and then the black one underneath is just a regular one for traditional media. So this is actually not the first page of my sketchbook. This is where I started drawing this year. I did some ugly historical portraits, and then from there kind of doodling, doing my usual floating head thing. And this is before I did any concentrated studies. On this page, this is where I actually started doing pose maniacs, references, trying to nail down anatomy, no real time limit on them, and just kind of trying to break down the figure into more simple shapes and forms. I also realized how horrible I am with hands, so I decided to draw 100 of them. But for the most part, I tried to stick to a schedule of maybe warming up with 30-second poses, doing at least 20 of those, and then move on to drawing 10 90-second poses. One thing I really struggle with my anatomy is gesture for sure, and not so much proportion. I mean, with the finger right there, that's definitely not proportionate. But gesture and foreshortening are definitely the most challenging items, so I tried to work with different models that were foreshortened. Aha! This is where I realized I didn't have confidence with my lines, and so I decided to do the Draw a Box challenge. This is the first homework assignment where we practice drawing straight lines and curves. This is, I think, still homework one where you have to ghost lines and then you make planes. Ta-da! No ruler. Not bad. And then some more figures. I think I decided from that point on I needed to work in pen because I needed to think more carefully about how I place my lines. I also just need to be a lot more confident in my mark making. So I think all of these are 90 seconds. These are, who is it? Shoot. That one guy that nobody likes and likes. It's a double-edged sword. I can't remember. Shoot. That's okay. This is Bridgman for sure. This is all Bridgman. Bridgman is pretty great, but I wish he had more illustrations in his book. Those are some hip and butt studies. Yeah, as you can also see, I tried to make a goal of what warm-ups do I try to cover at the beginning of the day and what topics I try to cover. So again, these are more foreshortened 90-second or 30-second poses. And more hands, because I'm terrible at them. Hands are hard. Only way to get better is to do more. I think today, or not today, that day I had a really rough time with anatomy. I was really struggling to get the gesture and just the general idea. These are Baum's ribcage studies, and those were really helpful since I really struggle with the torso. More hands, because I'm terrible at them. And a lady from imagination. The one thing I've consistently been comfortable and uncomfortable with drawing would have to be probably human anatomy. I know you see a lot of it in here, but it's something I like. It's kind of a double-edged for me. Like, sometimes I feel like I'm getting the hang of anatomy, and then other times I feel like I'm struggling and I just have no idea how to represent the human body in 3D form on a 2D plane. It's still a struggle. That's why you see a lot of these 30-second and 90-second gestures. I'm trying to look at it, try to simplify the forms, draw it down. Here I have some female and male torso studies. I got these from a 3D sculpting website, which is very helpful. You can rotate the form 360 degrees and you can see it from every angle. More poses, some of them I outlined in pen. At least the ones I liked I outlined in pen. And of course more hands, because my goal is to draw 100. Getting better though. I reverted back to pencil here because pencil is my comfort zone. Alright, this is Proco, bean studies. So you imagine the torso as a simple bean, and then you build off of that bean and you make different poses. And that was tremendously helpful. More bean studies, these are a little bit more difficult to see because I sketched them in so lightly with pencil. And again, this is probably the way I should be starting to draw my figures, is start with the torso and then build off of that with the limbs and the arms. Everything on this page is pretty much from imagination. I don't think I did any studies. And more hand studies. And I think this is about, nope, not the end. More homework from Draw a Box Challenge. This is homework 1.2, where you're practicing drawing ellipses and ellipses and planes. Cylinders, very challenging. More hands. All the stuff on the right is mostly from imagination except for the top right. And then this is homework 1.3. This is from a meetup group where I went and I sketched the downtown area. It's pretty challenging. Perspective is definitely a challenge. And some stylized faces from reference. And this is all. Moving on to my watercolor sketchbook, I only really started this about a few days ago. So I think maybe a week ago I did this little painting here just to kind of test out my watercolor paper. Also just messing around right there. This is my first serious study, and it's a shot from a TV show called Blackpink House. This next page right here is where I was testing out glazing techniques and trying to get a layered effect. A little bit of like silhouettes, tried to do clouds, wet on wet technique. I don't think the paper is really great for wet on wet. It's a huge bummer. And then finally, a couple of thumbnails and some guy, and that's about it.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed looking at my sketchbook. I did a little bit of a voiceover, so hopefully that worked out well. The last thing I wanted to discuss in this video is my plan for my art education moving forward from here. I decided that I'm going to go back to school. Maybe a little bit of background information, but I already completed my bachelor's degree in sociology and Japanese studies. When I was first starting out as a college student, I did go to a community college and I did take some art classes, and it was at that point where I tried to decide whether or not I wanted to do art or if I wanted to do Japanese or if I wanted to do sociology. I ended up just going with sociology and Japanese studies, but here I am now coming back full circle. So I decided I'm gonna go back to community college for at least 1 year, and I'm going to aim to get my AA in the arts. So, not fine arts, it's the arts. I don't know, art. An associate's degree in art as kind of like the beginning of my foundation, and I'm gonna be going to a local community college. I'm really excited. I already met with a counselor at that community college, and I talked with her and I told her all of my concerns, like whether or not I'm gonna have to worry about being on the wait list for classes, and she said that art is actually not an impacted major there, so super duper excited. So unfortunately, the spring semester already started, so I can't start this semester, but I am planning on taking classes starting this summer, so I think from June onward, and then probably be enrolled full-time. Now, I know to get the AA degree, it's like about 26 or like 28 units, and that's like roughly how many classes? Like I want to say like maybe 8 classes or so, but I might be going a little bit over that just so I can hit all the classes that I feel like would benefit my artistic ability. You probably saw from my sketchbooks, I'm trying to work on color and anatomy, and that is something I'm definitely looking forward to tackling on in community college. But from now until June, I kind of have a period of time where I can practice and study independently. Now, what I found for myself is when I work alone, I can't do it for that very long. I get distracted very, very easily. Working at home is really difficult for me, so oftentimes I will go to a cafe and I'll take my art books with me and I'll sketch there, or I'll even sketch some of the people there as well. But what really benefits me the most is going to those meetup groups where you hang out with different people and you pick different locations to sketch on site, or you choose people to sketch, or you can go into different museums and exhibits. I already did that and I pointed it out in my sketchbook. The only con is with that one meetup, it only meets once a month. No! But I did find out from going to that meetup from one lady. She told me about a watercolor society, so I'm actually thinking about joining that watercoloring society, and they meet up every week, I think twice a week, and they also hold workshops and demonstrations. It looks like, from judging from the website, it tends to be an older crowd that attends that, but actually I love that a lot more because I feel like you know, people who are a little bit further along in life, they have more of a passion for art and they're more laid back, they're less critical of themselves, and that's kind of the group of people that I would like to surround myself with. So I'm really looking forward to that. Let's see, what else am I planning on doing? Yes, there is also 2 other meetup groups I'm gonna be attending. So there's one for life drawing that it's strictly, you come in with your drawing board, your newsprint, your paper, your whatever media you desire. For me, that's Conte Crayon, and you do different poses. So they have time poses, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and then a long pose of either 20 or 40 minutes, I believe. So I'm gonna try attending that as well. There was another one. Oh yes, there's another one local to where I am in the city that I live, and they meet twice a week. So I'm gonna try and be a little bit more social and put myself out there. I have been participating in an online forum. It's called Crimson Daggers, and it's great because it's a lot of people who are aiming to become professional artists themselves, or no, I think it's mostly everybody's trying to aim to be a professional artist, or they already are a professional artist, and you can kind of post your work and have other people comment on your work, which is great, or you can go and look at other people's sketchbooks, comment on their sketchbooks, get ideas, get suggestions. Some people are kind enough to do paintovers over other people's work, which is fantastic because that takes a lot of time. I'll go ahead and link my sketchbook on Crimson Daggers down below, so you can check that out. If any of you subscribers, I know I have one right now, thank you. I think you should go make a sketchbook on Crimson Daggers. I think everyone over there is very supportive and they give you a lot of great feedback on what you need to improve with your art. Online communities are great, but I feel like I need to really expand my network in that way. I don't have any friends that do art professionally, or like any family, really. I want to update my channel at least once a week, so I'm gonna give that a go for the month of March. I'll probably continue to do sketchbook updates where I show you where I'm at in terms of artistic growth and progress and skill sets and all of that, because that's the point of this channel, is I want to document that. Alright, so if you guys have any questions or suggestions, comments, whatever, please leave them below. I would love to hear from you. And if you are also a growing artist, go ahead and subscribe. And if you have a channel, please tell me about it, because I would love to spread the support and knowledge and camaraderie that comes with trying to grow as an artist. Alright, I will see you all hopefully next week. Okay, bye!